All right. All right. Finally doing this. I mean, I'm using the same mic that I use for Kumu. So like I'm tempted to use the laughter button yung ito. And this. But I'm not going to because I just strictly want to converse with you. But of course, susubukan ko na mag-mix ng Tagalog sa dialogue ko for today. So, pasensya na sa mga tao dyan ng gustong, that you want me to have a guest. Pero since this is technically my first episode after being in Bahay ni Kuya, I wanted to have you guys to myself at first. And also to refresh your memories on what this is. Welcome everyone to Survibin. This is actually where the survibin idea came about nung nasa bahay pa ako ni Kuya. And I wanted to have my own solo podcast. And I started with my first episode kasi nga may sadis ako kasama si Rian. Pero sometimes I impulsively want to just talk on my own because I'm that type of person. So yes, here we are again. It's been a while. But yeah, here I am, kickstarting it again, impulsively, as usual, like I did for the first episode. And I wanted to talk about body image. So before I proceed into going into that serious topic, I'll introduce myself. Hello everyone, my name is Gail Banawis, also known as Struggail. And this is my official podcast / vidcast. Because I'm not sure if i-upload ko siya sa Spotify and other streaming services, or maybe just strictly here for YouTube because it is easier if I have it here on YouTube. And I also need to increase my subscribers then, so at least magamit ko yung account ko for just like not just covers and vlogs but also for vidcast stuff here for Survivin', diba? Today's topic is heavy. I wanted to plan this episode out like I literally have a Google Doc open, pero I was thinking that if I just type it all out and have like a plan. I mean, it's not bad to have a plan. Depende sa'yo as a person. Pero there's a part of me that kind of just wants to spill everything and just vomit everything out. Alam mo yun? And I'm not sure if this is a smart decision at the moment, making this episode. Because I am kind of emo. I don't know why. Maybe it's the lack of sleep. But body image is a very close topic to my heart. Even though I like to say otherwise. Whoever's watching or listening, I hope you're comfortable. If you're just watching, grab a pillow or like some snack or something, or drink or whatever. And if you're busy doing something, I hope you do it well. And I hope you gain something from listening or watching this. So I grew up in the States, and I grew up on social media. So I am a child of the internet. I have been not necessarily bashed before when I was a kid, but I am not a stranger to having negative things said about me. Like before, nung bata pa ako, there was a website called Matmice. I never put my picture there kasi nga I was scared as a child. Na parang, what if someone finds me? What if someone kidnaps me? So I never did that. But I do remember getting like mga hate comments minsan sa mga page ko, and I'm like, why are they hating on me? I'm just sharing my own personal experiences sa mga page ko ganun, because I used to write a little bit, and then they would like comment on my life decisions and everything. I'm like, it's not your life, but why are you all so angry at me? But then I understand now that maybe they were coming from a place of like personal problems, kasi maybe the people that I was talking about, not necessarily negative, I wasn't saying anything negative about anyone, but I would talk about how I would interact with people or react to a certain situation, and maybe they were like the other people in the situation that aside from me, ganun. So maybe they could relate or something like that. So eventually went on MySpace, Friendster, and there were a few times like siguro mga weird accounts kasi I'm public usually sa mga social media ko nung bata pa ako. And maybe sometimes I would get random comments about, oh, you have a big nose or whatever. But I didn't mind it much. I mean, a part of me was hurt about it because growing up, my nose has always been an issue for me. When I did not have this Chopal face, my face was a lot more skinnier. And this was a lot more present and overwhelming on my face. Very heavy, ganon. And I used to be very insecure about that. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it still does come up with myself. And sometimes I do get bothered by it. I'm like, oh, girl, why are you built like that? Why do you look like that? That sort of thing. But most days, wala naman akong problema sa ilong ko. Most days. Pero tao nga lang ako. And I sometimes overthink it. That's why every morning when I wake up, most of the time I have to talk to myself na parang, Gail, you are beautiful. You are blah, blah, blah. You're worth it. Mga ganun. Like, I have to constantly remind myself. Kasi when I wake up, medyo... I mean, sometimes I wake up already with, like, negative thoughts in mind. So I have to, like, rewire myself. And once I give myself those words of affirmation, then I could then I could operate better. And those negative thoughts that I wake up with dissipate, go away. Ganun. So nakakapagod, sa totoo lang. Like, I constantly have to, like, self-soothe and, like, tell myself, you're fine, relax, you're here for a reason, Gail, mga ganun. Pero you gotta do what you gotta do in order to do what you want to do, diba? And I know that I'm better than my negative thoughts and everything, so I have to... Hopefully, it'll become natural lang. To the point where I don't have to constantly remind myself things and whatever. So, let's see. So the reason why I even decided to talk about body image in the first place is because, I mean, kanina I was looking at myself in the mirror after my live stream. And then I was like trying to take a picture or whatever. And then it's like, oh my God, naiiyak na ako. Looking at myself, it was nice to, like, not have ill feelings or be like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. I mean, I joke sometimes, diba? Like, oh, ang pangit ko, ganun. But, like, it's nice to sometimes look at yourself and be like, huh, I don't hate what I see. You know? And well, that was just a weird random moment, yet powerful, because looking back at the way I grew up and how much my face bothered me, to be able to get to this point, to 25 years of existing, I'm just grateful. And I'm happy that younger Gail stood on and, you know, just kept going on despite that. And, you know, even though there were times where, like, I really just wanted to get plastic surgery or something, I decided not to, because I would be told about, oh, you should fix your face, you should fix your nose and stuff like that. And it sucked, because I don't hate my nose. I mean, sometimes aesthetically I'm kind of like, oh, it's overpowering. Ganun. Like, when I think of it from, like, an aesthetic perspective, but also at the same time, it's like I have pride in my nose as well, because my nose is a representation, literally, of my parents. Like, this part, the way, if from a frontal view, my God, my headphones. From a frontal view, my nose is really like my dad's nose. And I take so much pride into that, because that's my father. That's half of who I am. And then, if you go to the side, ito naman, this
this hump thing is literally from my mom's nose. So it's also my mother. So I feel like it's so beautiful because I don't even look like my mom that much. But literally my nose represents my parents. So like it's like to the freaking point, you know? And that's also why growing up, when people would tell me that I should get surgery for my nose or I should get it fixed, a part of me like kind of doesn't want to, because it's like history. It's like, this is walking history of my parentals. This is walking history of Gilray and Janet, you know, on my face. I mean, I know they're much more than that. They are actually who I am and everything. But I feel like just this physical manifestation of them is just super dope. And I don't really want to lose it. I mean, I'm not against the idea of plastic surgery at all. In fact, I think if you really want to go through it, why not? It's your life. Ang akin lang is just make sure that your head and your heart is in the right place when you go about it, because it's something that you cannot necessarily undo. So that's all I hope, that your heart and your head are in the right place when you do go about it, because sometimes the reasons why we do things like that is because we want to be purely just accepted by others, when really what matters most is how you feel about yourself, and whether or not will you really be happy, or will you be happier as a person afterwards, or will you regret it, or will you want to do more, or will you want to undo it? You know, that's also another thing that I fear when I think about plastic surgery. And like, I'm not saying that I'm never going to do it. I don't know if I will. There's a very big possibility that I will, especially coming to the industry that I have come into recently. But yeah, I'm totally not against it. But my thing is, it's just, I don't know. It's like I have a love and hate relationship with my nose. I remember when I used to play dodgeball at gym for school. Like, laging natatamaan yung ilong ko, and sobrang sakit as in, pero, and it used to be like a running joke, Gail's nose is so big, that's why it always gets hit, and everything like that. And I would laugh, I'm like, yeah, true, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, whatever, it's whatever, I don't care, at least I have a nose, I don't know, like, but aside from my nose, though, I have had body issues for a while. And whenever people ask me about it, sinasabi ko nang wala masyado. Pero it's because I'm the type of person that, like, if there's something, like, negative or whatever, or, like, a negative experience, it's either I hold on to it for dear life, na parang naalala ko talaga siya, crystal clear, or kinakalimutan ko siya. Or, like, I put it in, like, the freaking depths back of my mind so that it's not something that's in the forefront of my head, kasi there's already so much going on in here na hindi ko na kailangan yung mga nega na ganyan. But I remember growing up, I also had issues with just the way that my body is formed. Kasi I have like a long torso. I don't have the longest legs. Like, even though I am 5'7", which I think is great. I wish I was taller sometimes, but I'm not one of those like long-legged people, you would say. Like, I have a long torso, so even though I don't have the smallest waist, at least, you know, there's still like some sort of form, like this sort of form, Coke bottle, whatever form. So I'm thankful for my long torso for that, but I never, like, I didn't always look like the girls that I would see on Tumblr or Instagram, and like minsan nababad trip ako. I'm like, why do I not look like them? Like, I'm even taller. I didn't understand, and I used to hate it so much. I'm like, oh, why are my legs not that long? Blah, blah, blah. Tapos yung mga kaibigan ko, kahit 5'4" lang sila, or 5'3", 5'2", or even shorter, mas maganda yung proportion sila kesa sa akin. And I used to be super insecure about that. And like, not even just proportions on my long torso. Like, I'm not exactly the most blessed in the upper regions, diba?
sure we're all aware. And it would make me feel like I'm not feminine enough. I'm not a woman. I'm not a girl. But I'm gonna like. I mean, like I'm not saying I'm totally flat, right? But it's not always present. Like hindi siya yung parang I'm always here. Hello, like ganon. But then now I like it because at least I get to wear like oversized shirts, or sometimes hindi na ako nagbabra. Wala nung pakialam. Alam mo yun, parang like, I'm just gonna let it rip. Whatever. If you see something, if you don't, I don't care anymore. So I'm not necessarily like bothered by it anymore. Yung sa akin lang talaga minsan, I just wish like for aesthetic purposes, na I wish like it would activate or like work this way just to make it look more balanced as an image. Ganun. But yeah, sometimes not sometimes. Actually, a lot of the bashing that I've gotten through social media in the recent months after being evicted and like becoming some sort of, I don't know, public persona or something, whatever it is that I have now, a lot of it is about my physical appearance. And at first, I have to say, it did really hurt because it took me so long to get to the way that I accept myself now. It took me years to get to be like, I'm okay. I'm okay with my nose. I'm okay that my like both sides of my face are not like balanced or something. Like this one is more masculine than this one, this feminine one. I'm okay that there are discolorations within my body na hindi pantay-pantay yung kulay and everything. I'm okay that I'm flat-chested. I'm okay that I don't have the longest legs. I'm okay that everything doesn't necessarily fit me the way it should. But, you know, like, ganun, it took me years to get to this point of acceptance. So, one, I had other people coming at me and telling me otherwise, that you look like this, you look like a tita, you look like that. Like, I've never experienced having so many people that I don't know tell me those things. Because usually it's only about my nose or my face, mga ganun. And like, it's usually people from that I know, and I know where they're coming from. It's not necessarily to make me feel bad, it's just to improve how I look. But these are people now that are coming at me that want to hurt me when they say these things. So like, at first it did hurt, but now parang naging manhid na ako sa mga comments sila. I mean, if you catch me on a bad day where I didn't tell myself na parang, Gail, you're beautiful, blah blah blah, like I just wake up, it's the first thing I see, I'm gonna feel bad for sure. But that's why when I wake up, I don't look at my phone. I look at the ceiling and I'm like, girl, you don't know what you're gonna face today. It might be crappy, it might be great, pero you know yourself, you know how far you've come for yourself, so do not be overwhelmed or pulled down by what other people say about you, because at the end of the day, you know yourself, and you know where your heart is, you know what you've done, you know how long and how hard you fought to like get to where you are, mentally, spiritually. Alam mo yun. So like, whatever they say, dead mo lang yan. Kasi you know yourself, and people who say things like that are only saying that because they're coming from a different it's coming from a place of hurt, sadness, or like they're not happy with something in their lives. Kasi alam ko naman mismo yun nung bata pa ako, having access to the internet and everything. I wasn't always the kindest either. Na I would say bad things about other people. I mean, they never read it kasi they're too big stars or celebrities to even see it. But even minsan sa, like just in my mind, like, but ganun, okay. Sometimes if I'm not, wait, what was I saying? Hold on, okay. So sometimes I'll think negative things about people, and then I have to check myself, like, wait, sandali lang, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? Maybe you're insecure about something. That's why you're pointing it out about that person. And then I realize, Yes, that is why. That is why I said that. That is why I'm thinking that, because I am in fact insecure about that certain thing that I'm pointing out all the time. So parang ganun. And they're just people, so like don't get overwhelmed by it. They don't know you. They don't pay your bills. You know yourself. The people who matter are in your life and they know who you are. And you know, it's not worth stressing over. But what else do I want to say? Parang nakalimutan ko na yung train of thought ko. Actually, I didn't really have a specific train of thought for how this would go. But I did want to talk about my childhood with it. So I did touch on that lightly. Na I've had issues with my nose all the time. Actually, nung mga 8 years old ako, 8 and before, 8, 7, 6, 5, wala talaga problema sa mukha ko. In fact, I was kind of like vain. Na parang, ang ganda ko. Ano ba yun? I used to love looking at myself all the time. Alam ni mommy yun. I would look at myself, try on clothes, be like, Mommy, I'm so beautiful. Then, around the ages of 8, 9, that's when she decided to grow out and mature and became very overpowering on my face. Siguro sinabi ni Lord na, hoy, humble ka naman dyan. Let me humble you with this nose. Boom. And this happened. But I don't hate it. In fact, like, I can't imagine my face without it. Like, there were even times na I would download apps just to adjust the size of my nose and, like, see the difference. And, like, be like, do I want surgery now? Parang ganun. And I used to, like, adjust this and everything. Is so bad. And then this one, like, I would lift it up, like, but then I don't look like myself, and I don't know if I want it, but I don't know. Just imagine a teenager going through that, like, having to adjust their face. Can you imagine that? Like, we've come to an age where that's pretty much the norm. Hi, just Lord, makes me think, like, do I really want to have children and birth children into a world like this, where, like, your physical appearance is constantly being judged and everything and used against you? But no generation is perfect. We all have our own sets of problems. Every generation, kahit walang technology masyado noon, they had their own things too. So it is the beauty of life, I guess. But anyway, that's pretty much what I have to share. I did not expect to cry, so sorry na for crying. Some of you might be crying with me because nakakahawa daw yung luha ko. Char. But there were some questions that I got from Twitter that I do want to maybe answer. And let's see. Let me find them. I'm not going to answer all of them because I mean, like, a lot of them are actually, like, more like Miss Hugh questions. And my mind is not at that level. Because this is such a personal topic for me at the moment. Like, I could definitely come up with an answer, but right now I just want to chill. And I just want to answer without having to be, like, politically correct or whatever, you know what I mean? So, let's see. Okay, so here's one question. A lot of people would tell you not to mind what other people think of you, but how do we really block off these negative comments and not let it get to our head and affect us in how we see ourselves? I mean, like how I said, it's really about your mindset. When you wake up in the morning, it really sets the tone of how your day is going to be. So for me personally, since words of affirmation is my love language, I don't know if it applies to other people. I have to set the tone for myself. So I tell myself I will not get affected by other people's opinions. I will not let it affect me. I am beautiful. I am built just the way I needed to be built. God built me this way for a reason. You know what I mean? So it's up to you and how you are as a person. You have to really know yourself or get to know yourself. Put in the effort to get to know how your mind works. Because it's when I talk to myself that I feel better and I feel like I could conquer the world, that it changes the way that my mind works, like, tremendously. tremendously. Because usually I wake up feeling tired and super negative, parang, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Is it even worth it? Like, am I even worth it? Do I even have the looks to do this sort of industry, to do what I want to do, that sort of thing? But then I'm like, wait. Another part of myself's like, wait, Gail, excuse me, why are you saying these things? Like, excuse me, boss lang, you need to rewire yourself. Ganon. So, it's really effort. In any relationship, I have to say, it's effort. Even the relationship with yourself. So you have to put an effort into actively finding out what works for you. So maybe try the words. Maybe try talking to yourself in the morning, or like having to have a conversation with yourself. Because going off on another tangent for like a bit, one of the beautiful things about therapy, with like the very few times I've had a session with a therapist, is that when you voice things out and you hear yourself say it and you hear yourself piece your thoughts together, things make more sense and you start to get to know yourself better. And you're supposed to know who you are. And you're supposed to know how you feel. Pero in the world that we live in, it's like we're always on the go. We have to do stuff. We have to get stuff done, be productive. That we don't always take the time to take care of ourselves and find out who we are, how do we function, and how do we friggin' feel. Like, so yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but yes, how we see ourselves. Yeah, it's important you know who you are above all things, and that you were built the way that you were built. And in the eyes of God, you're freaking perfect, bro. Alright? Yon. So, what's another question? How can you not hate your body image? Another thing that I remember, one of my best friends states, one of our issues in our friendship is our lack of communication. Kasi before, may issue talaga ako dun na parang I'm not the type to open up. If I have an issue with her, parang nidibdib ko na lang, hindi ko sinasabi sa kanya kung may issue ko or ganun. So nagagalit siya sa akin na parang, Gail, I want us to communicate. I want this relationship to work. I want us to work because I care about you. So you have to tell me if I do something wrong. If you feel a certain way, you have to let me know because I'm not a mind reader. And at first, akala ko parang, bro, why is she so aggressive? Ganon, na parang, I just don't want any issues. But then I realized later on, if you don't communicate these things, then that's how the issue becomes an actual issue. Whatever, it could be super small, pero parang lumalaki siya because you're not addressing how it is that you feel or whatever. So, from her, I'm going off on a tangent again, pero how can you not hate your body image? Growing up, the reason why she is so straightforward and so communicative is because that's how her mother raised her. And yung friend na to, hindi siya Pilipino she's American, and her mother raised her in a way na parang she always uplifted her na parang you are beautiful, you are smart, ganon. So parang whenever we have conversations about self-confidence or just issues about ourselves, ganon, hindi siya masyado nakaka-relate because grabe yung believe niya sa sarili niya. And I used to be like, wow, sana all. I wish all people were like, I wish I was like that. But then I realized it's because it's the way that she was raised, na parang the way that I had to talk to myself in the morning is something that her mother did to her when she was a child. And about when you're a child, that's your foundation as a person. Whatever happens in your childhood, you carry on to your adulthood. So, like, I'm not saying my mom raised me wrong or anything, kasi she didn't at all. Oh wait, my hair again. She didn't raise me wrong, but I didn't. Who would have thought that I would be the person that needed words so badly in my life? Ganun, ganun. And my friend is that type of person as well. Now, words are very important to her. So that's why I'm also working on like parenting myself in that sense where I have to like soothe myself and tell myself that I am beautiful and that sort of stuff. So how can you not hate your body image? How can you not? I don't think it's possible for everyone to just not hate it. I mean, there might always be some sort of dislike, or maybe like certain days na parang lumalabas lang yung medyo negative na attitude mo towards sa sarili mo, ganun. But it's effort. It's always effort. You have to put in the work for yourself. If you want your body to look a certain way, you have to work towards it if it's something you could work towards. Or maybe like find out, why do you hate it? Is it because of what other people are saying? Are you not comfortable with it? You have to find the root of what makes you hate how you look like. Ganon. Because I feel like a lot of things you have to find the very root of in order for you to be able to tackle that problem. Like I said from the previous question, you have to work towards it. Effort. If words is something that I guess works on you, you could do that again. But for me, actually, another way that I kind of learned to love what I look like is taking pictures. Even though I feel like parang it's the opposite of what would work for some, but because if we're always hiding from ourselves, then you start to have different images of what you look like in your head. When really you have to take the time to look at yourself and like admire yourself. Without emotions, just look at yourself and then remember, this is the body that has carried my soul for this many years. This is the body, this is the face that has worked so hard in doing X, Y, and Z. This is the face that has been loved by my parents or my friends or my family. This is the body that has carried so much heartache but still stands so tall, still stands so proudly. You know what I mean? Like mga ganun. Take the time to look at yourself without any noise in your head if kaya mo. For me, minsan, when I need to clear out the noise in my head, I'll just play music. Minsan mga lo-fi music lang. Para maging empty yung utak ko. And I'll just like do something or like look at myself if I need to, if that's really my issue of the night. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes when you're quiet, those are the most powerful moments for yourself. So I hope that answered that question. I really hope that answered that question. Okay. Next, do you believe that accepting oneself is vital in achieving self-confidence and growth? If yes, when did you accept who you are and how did you get there? Definitely. One of the first steps in achieving self-confidence and just growing as a person is accepting that you are the way you are. And to accept yourself is to accept yung mga mistakes mo, yung pagkakamali mo. Is accepting all your flaws as a person, is accepting all your triumphs, your failures, accepting everything. And that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. Kasi diba, a lot of the times, madami tayong mga regret na parang, ay, dapat hindi ko ginawa yun, dapat blah, 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 blah. But you have to remember that whatever mistake it was, whatever failure it was, you had to go through it in order to get to the point that you are at now. So, once you are at that stage of recognizing who you are and accepting yourself, it's much easier to grow and much easier to gain more confidence in yourself, because then you see that progress in yourself. Parang yung character development. Kasi diba minsan when we're watching movies or reading a story, we're waiting for the characters to evolve. Na parang from like a shy little girl to someone who's like more outgoing or confident in themselves. The same thing applies to you. You know, you are the main character of your story. So you have to mess up. You have to accept it. You have to accept that you're not perfect. No one is. That's why we're human. That's why we're here, in order to grow and just become better people so that we could become better for the people around us, for a freaking better world, dude. Sounds super freaking cliche, pero totoo naman. So yes. And when did you accept who you are and how did you get there? When did I accept myself? I feel like I started accepting myself more during college, like especially the first few years with that friend of mine that was always so assertive and always saying communicate with her kasi I was really uncomfortable in a lot of things within that relationship because it was like she was triggering me and a lot of the things that I was uncomfortable with myself. But at the back of my mind, I was also thinking na parang, I feel like I'm supposed to be learning from her for something. Like, she's in my life for a reason. And it's not a bad reason. It's for me to freaking know and learn and become a better person. My hair again. And yun, tama ako. I would not be the person I am today if it wasn't for her. I really do promise that. So, yes, and how did I get there? How did I get there? Again, through that friend. That friend was like a small representation of what I had to go through with myself. So parang she was always pushing me to my limits, always making me uncomfortable with things she would say. Pero hindi naman siya mali, alam mo yun. So that's why like I never really argued her about it. And then I realized that the things that I was experiencing with her, the things that she was doing to me, I needed to do to myself. And I knew how to do that with myself. It's just that I don't want to make myself uncomfortable. I don't want to put myself through pain. But I realized in order to grow, just like with beauty hurts. To grow, you have to go through it, you know? So that's how I did it. I got there by years of like actively either journaling or listening to podcasts, reading books, or like just observing other people and not really like learning to communicate or find out who I am. Like I would take ano ba yun, yung Myers-Briggs test that help explain a lot of things about me. And depends on you if you're like interested in your star sign or whatever. That also helped me. Parang it was like, oh, okay, so this makes sense. I'm like this, blah, 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 blah. Also, I think, what was it, like your life number or something like that. But there's so many different quizzes you could take or tests. You don't always have to take everything to heart, but there is some truth in what you read, I think. For me, kasi a lot of it made sense and like parang mas naintindihan ko yung sarili ko ngayon because of the things I realized. Like, kunyari, INFP ako. So that means like intuitive something like basta like I'm more of a feeling person aside from like a logic person, which is completely true. I'm more introverted than extroverted. I like to perceive things. Parang ganon, like I also recommend the Myers-Briggs test. If you're someone who is trying to get to know themselves better, bruh, I suggest you take it. So, yes, a lot of effort. So, like, from questions 1 and 2, effort in yourself. So, when I used to, like, really promote self-love before, that's what I meant, essentially. Putting effort into finding out who you are as a person. And I feel like the whole self-love journey is lifelong. But as early as whatever age you're at now, even if you're older, in the older spectrum of things, of the age groups or whatever, it's never too late to get to know who you are and what you want out of life. And get to know who you are as a person. Because if you know yourself better, then you know how to handle yourself around other people. And how to tell other people how you want to be loved and how to love others. Body image lang to, but ganito yung mga ano mo. Sige, like 2 more questions. When do you feel most beautiful? Okay, so I feel like this question could be taken 2 ways. It's either when do I feel most beautiful physically, or when do I feel most beautiful, period. So I have to say, if I do like my makeup from a superficial stanza, if I do like my makeup or like I did, you know, like everything just worked out the way that you wanted it to. So you're probably like, oh my God, yes, I'm so beautiful. Selfie, selfie, selfie. Pero honestly, the most beautiful I feel is when I'm able to open up or help someone. That's when I feel the most beautiful as a person. Kasi parang I was able to do something not just for myself, but for another person in the universe, in life. Kasi we don't realize, but like the little things that we do for other people matter more than you know. And sometimes they impact us more than we even realize. Like sometimes I remember little things that my friends do for me nung bata pa ako, and like it's still something that I get happy over even as an adult, you know? So that's when I feel the most beautiful, is when I'm able to offer my service or just be there for someone else. Be even just parang as a soundboard or a listener for someone is when I feel the most beautiful, I guess. Kasi we're all built to be there for one another, to love one another. And if we're able to do that at least once a day, I feel like you're pretty much living life to one of the best ways you can, aside from just existing on Earth and having to survive and everything. So yeah. Last question, kasi masyadong mahaba na to. Do you think because of the media, there is a specific definition of perfection that most people want to achieve? Okay, this one. Media controls basically everything. Media does, because media is basically the epitome, or like this is it. This is what you should follow. Parang ganun yung power ng media. So when you see media posting certain images of people that they look like this, you want to look like that, because in your mind you're thinking that is perfection. That is what we're supposed to look like, because that is what they're presenting. When in fact that's not the truth, because we're all built differently and we're all so beautiful. So that's why when I like growing up in the States, especially in the recent years, they've been more open in showing images of like normal looking people. And I say quote unquote normal looking people is because they're just people. I don't know why it has to say normal. Models are normal as well. People who are not like super skinny thick are people as well. Like we're all people. So it's important to have representation in media. And when we're always following, when media is always presenting a certain aesthetic or a certain skeleton of what a person should look like flawless skin, flawless blah, 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 that's when, as a society, as people, we start to strive for perfection. So it's really in media's hands, I think, in changing what that definition of perfection is. Because if we focus more so on making that perfection, that imperfection equals perfection, that's when I think people will have, I don't know, better self-esteem or better confidence in themselves, because they'll see someone that looks like themselves on media. Like me growing up, couldn't, like very short lang, not seeing much Asians or people that look like me on TV brought me down, because I thought, as someone who wants to be an entertainer, hindi ko nakikita yung sarili ko sa screen. I don't see people representing me. So it's like, do I even have a chance? But now that I see people in the States that look like me who are on TV, it makes me so happy, because at least the next generations won't have the same problems that I did. So I basically did answer the question, but so yeah, media does have a powerful impact on people's definitions of perfection. Like in the States, if you're tan, if you're skinny, slim, if you have like blondish hair, light colored hair, tan skin, you're basically the walking epitome of perfection. Whereas dito sa Pilipinas, kung maputi ka, mestiza, ganon, then you're like A1, perfect, like shala social, like you know, perfect siya, ganon. So it's different according to country, according to society. But I wish media would push more that perfection is actually imperfection. So yeah, I'm gonna end it now because I've been recording for 46 minutes, and I definitely have to like cut these as well because madaming mga awkward silences and everything. But so yeah, that has been my episode, my second episode of Survibin. Gulo ng buhok ko ba? And I hope you got something out of this because I was basically just rambling. And sorry sa mga dyan. Hindi ako sanay na mag-podcast na majority Tagalog yung words ko lang, yun naman yun. Pero at least hinalo ko naman ng slight, diba? And hindi ako kasi masyado na express yung sarili ko na maayos if Tagalog lang yung nagamit ko. Because my brain is wired for like English because that's what I was raised with. But I promise you I'm getting better with it. I'm trying to. So maybe in the late episodes, more Tagalog. But yeah, let me know, guys, if you have any more topics in mind. Because I do want to have guests maybe come over in the next episode and stuff like that. We could like have a conversation or whatever. So yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience that I finally released episode 2. I don't know if I'm going to release this on streaming services kasi nga I want to up my YouTube subscribers. So maybe dito lang muna, maybe in the future I'll upload it on streaming services because that's also another thing I have to like settle and everything. And I did that back in the States. So yung mga files ko, like yung mga records ko, nandun sa States. Wala dito sa computer ko na bago. So, yes, thank you everyone for tuning into Survibin. I'm your host, Gail Banawis, also known as Struggail. And I'm not going to say the DU thing because I want to save that for Gail FM unless I change my mind because alam mo naman that I love to change my mind about things. But keep surviving, folks. And I say surviving because I feel like as we survive, we need to vibe as well. Because, okay, look, the word survive means to continue to live or exist, especially in spite of danger or hardship, or continue to live or exist in spite of like accidents or whatever. Yun sa akin lang, as I feel like surviving is a good word to use because it's like we're continuing to exist and to live, but we need to enjoy the ride at the same time. So keep surviving and enjoy the ride, guys. Love you all. Bye. Till next time. Mwah. Stay safe, guys. COVID's still real. It's not a joke. Serious.